Hi everyone. I actually wanted to go out today because look how beautiful it is. Alright. Look at this right here. It's gorgeous, isn't it? You know, on a day like this, you could go to the beach, couldn't you? Get some sun. And I live half an hour away by bus. Yeah. But yeah, it's a beautiful day today. But instead I am indoors because my arm is fucking up. It's been fucking up for the last few days. That's definitely as a result of the torture. And on top of that, every part of my body is just fucking stiff as hell, and I don't even know what's caused it. Now, I get that I'm 36. You know, I'm not a teenager, but I shouldn't be this fucking old already. And it's definitely the torture. Because I really want to go out. I really want to go out because the sun's shining. And, you know, look how beautiful that is. Look. Check this out. Look. Beautiful. Look at it. The seas look clear and shit. Like, god damn, man. The beach is right there. Like, the sea and the ocean is right there. And I can't go out and enjoy it. Because my fucking body's all stiff and shit. Like, you know. So, number 17 of Saturn Chronicles. I am stuck indoors in the fucking dark because my body's stiff and shit. It's getting on my nerves. Like, this torture is just... It gets to me sometimes, you know. I was trying to do my fucking readings yesterday. And... you know, some people were doing some work upstairs and, you know, as is their right, you know, they had just signed a lease off on a nail bar. So they had a lot of maintenance work to do in terms of the upstairs flat as well. I don't know if they're going to live there or not. I think they've decided not to stay up there until I've gone. Which won't be for several months because I'm not leaving. And the landlords don't want me to leave yet, so that could be for like several fucking months, and I don't even know if I'm leaving, and you know, at the end of those months either. I don't even know what's going on there. So this whole thing is just getting fucking ridiculous now, and then on top of that, the noise pollution has increased. So the torture in my body has, like, you know, I think the perps have learned now, at least for the time being, not to sort of go over the top with the torture. I think the only time when they'll go over the top with the torture is when they want to have something to use against me, or they want to try to go down the mental health route with me so they can say I'm crazy or something like that. I mean, I am, like, to a certain degree, but, like, not as much as they're painting. You know, I'm only crazy because of the amount of abuse I've suffered. So, yeah. So, the torture hasn't been that bad, so bad that it's like immediately like, ow, I can't walk, I can't move. But I've been attacked in my hips, I've been attacked in my arm. You know, I've got pain in my arm the same way my mum did, which leads me to believe that my mum's also being tortured with these weapons. And now that I'm looking back through my life, it would explain a lot about a lot of my family, but yeah, there's been torture, a lot of torture, and it's not just me. But yeah, it kind of irks me that as a 36-year-old woman, I'm fucking indoors, like, depressed and fucking, like, stiff as shit because of electronic weaponry and psychological torture. It kind of fucking annoys me that I'm in my house when it's beautiful like this and the sun's out and I need to be fed. And I mean fed by the sun, because the sun has vitamin D in it and could help my bones massively. It's not that I can't go outside, it's just a mission to go outside. It just feels like I feel drained, you know. My bones aren't cooperating. Like, it's the torture. All of it is the fucking torture. All of it is a torture. Oh. And coming back to the people upstairs. Yeah, so there was noise pollution going on yesterday as I was doing my tarot readings. I've got it on record. I could easily record it and put it on another video so you guys know what I'm talking about. I recorded what was going on today, so if I'm not doing anything, this is the thing that they like to do. What they like to do to TIs in general is that when TIs are doing anything positive, then they like to bombard them with harassment and noise pollution and all that type of bullshit. But as soon as a TI starts getting upset or starts talking online or exhibits any behaviors that are eccentric as a result of the abuse, and they will turn around and say that, you know, the TI is lazy, they don't do anything, they're always in the house, that type of shit. But then again, as Niels Meltzer said, the whole point of psychological torture is to remove anything positive from your life and like just bombard you with constant negativity in a bid to damage your nervous system permanently. So it doesn't surprise me that they're going to do shit like that. That's why I said, you know, I mean, I've always said that my perps were murderers in the first place, but hearing Niels Meltzer talk about the effects of psychological torture and how bad it can really get, it just makes me look at bullying in new ways. And it makes me look at bullies in new ways, especially when they start whining about, you know, how hard done by they are by the fact that they're expected not to bully people anymore. It just makes me look at everyone in new ways now. So yeah, that's what the perps do, and they're not smart. They're not smart people. Standard tactic. They're not smart people. They're hired murderers, but they're not smart people. So yeah, so that's what's been happening. I got a hold of my medical records today, and yeah, it wasn't pleasant. There was one particular piece of evidence that I've got here. I've got the medical files here. I'm not going to get them out now, but there's one particular piece of evidence on what a GP have put in their diagnosis, because I said I was suffering from gum loss on this side, which the dentist in London has already proven with an X-ray. Okay. The GP looked me over knowing damn well they weren't a dentist, and then they turned around and wrote in my report that I was delusional. So this is what I decided to do. Now I've got a recording of me talking to a receptionist, you know, at my GP here in Brighton. So if I just play the audio for you now. All right. If there's a problem with paranoid schizophrenia, it's to do with the CR1 part of the brain. That part of the brain might be impaired. So if my bone loss is delusion and anything that I've been saying is delusion, then I'd like empirical evidence for that rather than speculation. That's one. The second thing is that I'd like a thyroid check, because my thyroid has been neglected for years and it's quite obvious that I've had a problem, and no GP that I've ever seen has, you know, endeavoured to deal with it really. So that's the second thing that I need looked at. The third thing The third thing that I need looked at is the coating of my bones, because I'm still having back problems. What I'm thinking is that it might be something to do with the myelin coating on my bone area, okay? And that is what might be causing the back problems. I think it's called myelin, I'm not sure, but it's the coating on my bones that's causing the issues for me. So that needs to be looked at, and to see if there's any treatment that can be done for that as well. So
sure. Just to the blood test.
Yeah.
That one is slightly more straightforward, I think, because what I can do is I can just put in a request for the GP to see if we can get you sort of set up for a thyroid. Did you say blood test?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that I'll do as well. But looking at the sort of obviously the bigger issues, if you like, as you're describing them, then I'm going to see if we've got any pre-bookables for next week. I don't think we have, unfortunately. I think I just took the last one for Wednesday and the one.
All right, that's just going over the details of me getting an appointment. So I've got an appointment for next week. So we're going to see, and I think it's a telephone appointment. Perfect, means I can record. So, you know, what I should show you is the previous recordings that I've had with the GP, and I've actually explained very clearly that if you're going to go down this road, then you are basically impairing my ability to testify in court in case you're wrong. So they knew what they were doing when they said that I think she's deluded. They knew what they were doing when they did that. That was a blatant lie, and they knew it. Okay, let me see if I can find the recording actually. There's a difference. That's a good question. I think they just did an ordinary one. That was my reading. There's a difference. I just wanted to make sure that when I left here, anybody else moving in wouldn't be... Yeah, that was my phone call to the police, sorry. There's several of those.
Okay, so what's happened? Hello, can I speak to Miss Fabienne Deacon, please?
Speaking.
Hi there, it's Woodingate Medical Centre.
Yes. Alright, yeah, so that was when I was going to get my... Sorry, this is taking a while. Sorry about this. I just need to get the recording. It's worrying me. It's my hips and my elbows.
Okay.
That was when I was... That's when I was talking to the therapist, a physiotherapist. I have to find the one for the GP. Okay, so this is the temporary reading. Oh, sorry, that's a... fiasco and stuff like that. It just turned into a whole fiasco. And it shouldn't... Yeah. Paul just called me. Sorry about that. I had to, I like record all my phone conversations. That he got an email. Hello.
Hello, it's Hattie.
Oh yeah, that was Hattie.
Some stuff I've pressed up to it now.
Okay, so I did have the back injury on the previous Saturday before I was admitted into hospital. It was on the Monday that I realised I actually had trouble walking. And this was actually because of, like, I've been talking to everybody about electronic torture. So I was basically suffering with electronic torture in my hips. And recently I've been suffering with it in my elbows. That torture in my hips was actually why I couldn't walk on Wednesday. It wasn't actually due to my back injuries. I thought it was, because I did experience pain in my back as well. But the reason I couldn't actually walk or stand up or do any of these things was because of the attacks on my hips. So I actually wanted to know how I could strengthen my hip bones. All right, yeah, that's the physiotherapist. That's a physiotherapist. So, as you guys can hear, whenever I get an opportunity, whenever I get a chance, I always tell the medical professionals exactly what's going on, so that I know where I stand and they know where they stand. Okay? I tell them everything. I don't bullshit on the details. Now, all right, so I'm gonna have to find on the recordings my dealings with. I'm trying to, Jesus, these papers are muddled as hell. Alright, so I need stuff from 2021. Yeah, so what I'm trying to find right now is the recording that I had with the GP, with me talking to them about the electronic torture and the effects it's had on my body. So that's if I can find the information. Notes from 2021. Alright, so if we have a look at this. Alright, so this is from the 9th of July 2021. It says problem paranoid schizophrenia E103 first. History, previous diagnosis and history noted. Fabienne says she has been to the dentist and concerned because she was told erosion of the gums on one side. Explained that she's been attacked on one side of the head by electronic weapons and needs a CT scan. No other symptoms could not shift her from this belief. Plan happy for a review, but suspect has come of aripiprazole and deterioration of mental health. Alright. So that wasn't actually the GP. That was no, that was the GP, yeah. Peter Armes, okay. So yeah, that was the GP. That was a conversation that I'd had with them. If I can just find the recording, because I've actually recorded the conversation. And then we've got the appointment where I actually went to see him on the same day. It says no bony tenderness. I feel this is delusional. Has stopped medication. Okay. So I'm going to play you, when I can find it, the GP recording that I had, a conversation that I had with them. Hang on.
Ideas folder. Alright, so quote another idea. Okay, so okay. I'm kind of into oh my. Alright. Okay. So, alright. To the light off.
Alright, so that's not it. It's got to be in folder C. Yeah, it looks like it's here.
I'd like to be referred for a CAT scan and
This is it.
skull X-ray.
Right, okay. Well, we can't access... tell me the history, because obviously...
And when they start stuttering, you know they're about to deliver some bullshit when they start stuttering. So
I'd like to be referred for a CAT scan and skull X-ray.
Right, okay. Well, we can't access... tell me the history, because obviously as GPs we can't access CT scans. That's via the hospital, so...
I know, but
okay, so hold up. Do you see the first gaslighting he's doing? He's basically trying to turn around and say, well, GPs can't give you CAT scan. Did you not hear me say that I would like to be referred for a CAT scan? Not given one, referred for one. So automatically right off the bat, he's already gaslighting me.
thought the way it worked is that I talked to the GP and the GP talked to the hospital. That's the way I'm usually used to dealing with it. That's why I called you first.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the problem and how acute the problem. So what's been going on?
Okay, so basically, I get tortured at specific parts of the day. It's a deliberate thing. It should say on my notes exactly what the circumstances are. I've already been to the dentist about my tooth, and they said that there's significant gum loss on the same side where I've been tortured, or on the same side where I've been attacked. So I've already got that down. What I actually need is a skull for the top part of my head, because that gets attacked too, and I need to ascertain exactly how much.
Attacked in what way? What are we talking about?
So I said that I was getting attacks at the top of my head, and that was affecting my reflexes and things like that, and and all the rest of it. So he's basically acting like he doesn't know what I'm talking about, so I explain the situation.
Okay, so it's remote electronic torture using directed energy weaponry that wears away the bone density of the body. So if it's fired on specific parts of the body, it wears away bone density. I already have evidence of the left part of my face being more eroded than the right.
Unfortunately, I can't find the files that the dentist actually sent me, because they did send me the files. But the way the x-ray was set up, you could see it was too big to actually make out where the gum erosion was. But they did send it to me, and it was actually evidential that I had gum loss on one side. They said several times, every time I went there, they said they were concerned about it.
Because that's exactly where my face has been attacked from. So I've already got evidence for the lower part. I need evidence for the higher part, and I also need to ascertain if there's any brain damage as a result of everything that's happened to me. So that's why I need the CAT scan and the skull X-ray.
What's attacked you? I'm not quite understanding this, I don't think. So what do you think has attacked you?
It's not about...
What do you think has attacked you? So if you're entirely sure that this is a delusion, then why wouldn't you get the CT scan? Because even if it doesn't demonstrate that what I'm saying is true, it would demonstrate that what you are saying is true, and that I actually do have a mental illness. Because mental illness has been demonstrated to have different effects according to which part of the brain is overactive and underactive. So even if I can't prove what I'm saying with the CT scan, you could prove what you're saying. Why would you not take the opportunity to do that unless you knew I was telling the truth?
Thinking I have like decades of research and evidence backing up everything that I'm saying, and I've been scanned for chips as well, and I've also been scanned, well, not scanned, but I've also been looked over for non-ionized radiation damage and also the erosion of bone density. I've also had substantial bruising in my muscles as well from the weaponry, so none of this is something that I've dreamed up in my head. This is actually real, and honestly, even if I was, the fact that I'm trying to get referred for evidence of bone loss and evidence of brain damage, it should reveal right away that I'm not in this just to basically make something up and get attention.
I'm not saying that, I'm just working out what's happening and to see whether or not, because I've certainly never heard of any electrical signals causing problems with bones.
Well, it's not an electrical signal, it's an electrical weapon, and the way these works is much like a search engine works. Basically, you get certain information linked to a cell tower, and the cell tower reaches you. Only, instead of a search engine or the internet, you get attacked. It's really as simple as that. It works in much the same way. So that's why I needed a skull x-ray and a CAT scan to ascertain exactly how much brain damage has been sustained and how much bone loss has been sustained in my skull as a result of these electronic weapons that have been used on me.
Okay, well, first of all, I would say that we need to examine you to see if I can see any evidence of that.
Okay.
But my suspicion is that I won't be able to find anything.
Of course you suspect that. Of course you do, because you went out of your way to examine me to make sure that you could pretend that you didn't find anything. So of course you suspect that. Gaslighting. They do that constantly. They do that to people constantly. It's disgusting.
And we can check your nerves in your head, and we can check, make sure there's no obvious problems there. But certainly never heard of something.
They did that through looking in my eyes directly to see if there's any nerve damage there. But again, the CT scan would prove conclusively what the issue was. I've been asking for that for years. They still haven't done it.
Attack your brain in that way.
Well, it depends on the weapon. I mean, there are specific types. There are different types that cause bone loss, that debilitate you.
So you've actually commented this previously, and it's been looked at previously, and you went to see someone from the mental health team to talk that through. Is that right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what did they say about that?
Well, they said they'd get back to me on that. They said it would... I don't know. I think what they really have to decide is who my therapist is going to be or what best treatment there is for me. But I've been down this road.
The mental health team, because they may well be the best team to have a little look at that for you.
Okay, so help me out. For those who have had brain injuries in the past, or for those who know people who have had brain injuries in the past, how many of you have had to be referred to mental health for something that is a physical problem? How many of you have had to be referred to mental health in order to get a CT scan? Am I tripping? Or is this person trying a fast one? But let's continue on with the recording and see what answer we get.
Okay, so basically, based on the conversation that I've basically put forth to you, you're suggesting that the mental health is best for me to go down. May I ask why?
Well, I think we should examine you first, and then if we can see any evidence of any erosion in the bone.
They don't do erosion of the bone. How are you gonna talk to mental health to see if there's bone erosion? Wouldn't you talk to a dentist? And then on top of that, everything that I'm talking about up here, that's cranial, and that is neurological, okay? That's neurological, and that's to do with the cranium. What the fuck do mental health whose job it is to speculate on other people's behaviour and then give them pills, what the fuck would they know about bone loss? All they know how to do is create DSM-5 diagnoses out of thin air, not have any medical evidence to back it up, and then give people medical solutions to problems that are speculated on. Do you not see what the problem is here? I've been saying this for years.
I'd be very happy to obviously refer you on to for further scanning. But if we can't find any evidence, then I think it would suggest that I'm not sure whether that's the best form to go through, and we then need to potentially ask the mental health team who have looked at this before with you to have a little look of you.
They haven't actually looked at it. The people who have actually looked at my gums and seen that there was gum erosion was actually the dentist, and I didn't tell them anything about the electronic weapons at the time.
Gum erosion happens normally for lots of
It happens for everyone, but it usually happens on both sides of the face. In my case, there is substantial gum loss on one side of the face. That is the part that's not normal, and there's already evidence for that. So my thing is, if this is a mental health issue, then I would need a CAT scan anyway, because there are specific parts of the brain that cause paranoid schizophrenia. It's not just a hormonal imbalance. It's caused by brain trauma. So even then, if we wanted to go down that road and talk about mental health, we'd still have to examine where the brain trauma for that mental health issue is coming from. We can't just slap on a mental health diagnosis just because we don't understand what the patient is talking about. We need proof and we need evidentiary support, because to say that somebody has mental health issues, that's a very serious thing. That if I'm right in what I'm saying, let's just say for argument's sake, entertain me for a second, that I'm right in what I'm saying about the electronic weaponry and that there are criminals out there that have been doing this to me. If I've been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia erroneously, it doesn't matter whether people believe me or not. That affects my admissibility in court. And then I don't need to tell you what the consequences are for sectioning somebody, because it can affect your travel, it can affect many different areas of your life depending on the sectioning.
I need to clarify this. There's somebody that I know, I'm not going to say their name, and I hope they forgive me for talking about this, but there was one person that I know who was put on a Section 3. When you're put on a Section 3, you are not allowed to go anywhere that mental health don't permit you to go. So it's a lot deeper than just not being able to go certain countries. Once mental health get you under a Section 3, they can dictate and decide where you go. So it doesn't just affect somebody's travel, it affects their very free will. And given that psychiatry is a speculative profession, you would be amazed at how easy it is to abuse that system in order to get people on under Section 2 and Section 3. This shit is dangerous. This shit is not a fucking game. And to that person that I was talking about, I haven't mentioned their name or nothing, but I hope they forgive me, because I actually think very highly of them.
And depending on the level of incompetence that I'm deemed to have, or stuff like that. So to say things like that without evidentiary support is very concerning to me. Before we even go down the mental health route, surely there should be due diligence and research into the electronic weapons that I'm talking about. And there should be an examination, like you said before. We should have it examined, most definitely.
What I would suggest we do is examine you,
Yeah.
There's any evidence of neurological, physical problems, and if I cannot find any evidence of that, then I think it would be reasonable to request the colleagues from the mental health team, because they can do CT scans if they need, but I can't, as a GP, access any CT scans.
Okay.
Again, I've never heard of this. I have never heard of mental health having the facilities for a CT scan. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of GPs having the facilities for a CT scan either. So to my mind, this person's lying. Now, I could do the research and I could find out if mental health do have access to CT scans. But from what I've seen and what I've experienced, and I've experienced work with mental health for years, if they do have that fucking technology, then they're clearly not using it. Because most of the people that I know that end up in those places based on speculation of their mental health and nothing more.
And therefore, that's probably the best route to go through.
So basically this person is using mental health as a get out clause so that he doesn't have to explain himself. So he's been basically gaslighting to me and lying to me over the phone, trying to make out like I'm as cracked as possible, because that's what they do. If I look through my medical records, it's a good thing that I record some of these conversations, because there's a distinct disconnect between the conversations that I have with these medical health professionals and what is written down. There's a disconnect there. Okay? So it's a good thing that I record these things. Otherwise, but it's my belief, unless you guys get in the comments. Tell me I'm tripping. Get in the comments, tell me I'm tripping. Tell me I'm wrong. If I am, correct me, and I'll look it up myself as well. But I have never ever heard of mental health providing CT scans that is cranial and neurological, that is not to do with mental health. And even with mental health problems are caused by neurological problems in the brain. They're caused by neurological issues anyway. That's why it's called mental health. If it's not neurological, then where the hell did the mental health issues come from? If it's not neurological. Like, are you serious? The whole point of psychology is to learn the biological impact of the brain as well, because that's what causes mental illness. It's biological. All of it is biological. So why would you diagnose somebody with a mental health issue and not get a biological look in? Are you fucking kidding me? And they want to ruin people's lives with this shit. Get people on medication with this shit. Yo, this can't run. This is ridiculous. And when it comes to me being deluded, like I said before, there's evidence of me having bone loss on that side. You can even see with your naked eye that there's more damage on this side than this one. You can see it with your naked eye. Fuck. Imagine being this fucking evil and this fucking cowardly. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The lies. Man. That's why I put on that recording, that second recording first. I said, if you're going to go down this road of saying that I have delusions, hell, I said it to the person who accused me I had delusions and they still continue to lie. Like I said, there's a disconnect on my medical records between what is actually said during the meeting and what they write down. What they write down is shorthand. And not only is it shorthand, it's designed to make me look as irrational as possible. That's what I said. London Fabian is going to have to come out and come into the proceedings. Because this is some bullshit. This is some absolute nonsense. And Fabian London had to show up and show through here. I'm not messing around. You do not do that to people. If people have mental health issues, then fucking run the CT scan. Fucking run the CT scan, because all mental health issues are biological, and you're giving people biological solutions, i.e. medications for stuff, for diagnoses that are speculative. Get it together. Lies, constant lies. And like I said, that's not the only recording that I have. That's not the only recording that I have, and that's not the only evidence I've had of people fucking lying and playing games. And people thought it's always the same. I get to a certain place, the perps think they can fuck around with me, and then they find out what's really going on. It's always the same. They think they can fuck around with me and get away with it. I'm tired of it. And as for me, I should be walking down the beach right now, enjoying myself, sunning up and shit, and getting annoyed by seagulls. I shouldn't be sitting here in the dark and living in fucking Brighton. Imagine, in the summertime. And then on top of that, all the noise pollution when I dare to do anything positive. Nah, these people are about, the payday is coming. I'm not fucking around no more. Not fucking around no more. And you all saw the name of the doctor that was lying through his teeth. Watch me and them. Anyway, that was Saturn Chronicles 17. This live kind of went in a direction I didn't expect it to go, but, you know, shit had to be said, man, and shit had to be proven. Not fucking around, man. Anyway, I love you guys. Take care. Let's hope that I can get better. Let's hope that tomorrow's sunny so that I can go out in the sun, and I don't know about tomorrow. Oh, maybe a less crowded beach, but anyway, I love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Hold on.